If you're used to watching this channel by now, you're probably used to hearing us claim that the Nintendo Switch is the king console when it comes to being a visual novel machine. However, it is undeniable that despite the massive effort of publishers, the PC will reign supreme due to the sheer amount of options. But not every VN has made its way to PCs. In fact, there are quite a handful that are console exclusive. So here we're going to list some of the more high-profile Nintendo Switch visual novels that are not available on PC. Thanks to my main man Marion for researching this episode. He gave me a list and I wrote the nonsense around it. Just remember, if you're new and if you love visual novels, then hit that subscribe button. If you really love visual novels, then press that bell button too. It will be the best thing you do today. Except if you buy ice cream, of course. Let's start with a very high-profile Otome series, Code Realized. Yes, the 3 games, Guardian of Rebirth, Wintertide Miracles, and Future Blessings are on many consoles, including the Switch, but not on PC. This is a big shame because they are often considered to be one of the pinnacles of the genre. AAA Otome from Otomate with great production value and effort gone into them. They have a very big fan base and it is a pity that PC players can't experience them. The same could be said for both the Collar X Malice releases. The base game and its fan disc, Unlimited. I guess it appears Otomate and Axis Games aren't big fans of the PC scene. These are more mature otomes with a serious plot, which is more of the focus here than the romance. Very enjoyable though, especially for those who want to try a big otome but not for the husbandos. This one is definitely for the story first and foremost. Both the Famicom Detective Club games are exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. These 2 big budget remakes of 2 Famicom adventure games are excellent. Incredible attention to detail and production value, they are very much worth it for VN fans. As a Nintendo-owned IP, we can understand why these aren't available elsewhere and why they're not on PC. We just wish there was a physical version of them, at least with English. There's a Japanese one, but yes, most of us are not lucky enough to learn Japanese. Cupid Parasite is also a Nintendo Switch exclusive. They didn't even bother with a Sony release of this fun, colourful otome. A rom-com that is the perfect cure for some of the more serious visual novels out there. If you played Piofiore or Collar X Malice, then this one may be the next one to play just to, get off the seriousness. Have a little bit of colourful fun. Root Film is a very surprising no-show on the PC. Considering the predecessor, Root Letter, is on there, I would have thought this would have been a given, but no, this is only available on the Switch and PS4. This is a thrilling mystery adventure game where a murder interrupts the production of a TV show revival. It is your job to unravel the truth. I feel when this released on the Switch, it kinda got overlooked. There was not a whole lot of publicity about it, but it is one you should definitely check out. Not the best, but one that should not fly under your radar. Speaking of which, if there is a physical release available for any of these games in this list, then check the links in the description, as that's where you'll be able to purchase the games, and if you buy it, you can also support VN Paradise at the same time. We very much appreciate it. Dairoku Agents of Sakuratani is another otome and another one that is exclusive to the Switch. One of the more recent ones, as it released earlier this year. Once again, I feel this one slipped under the radar a bit. It didn't get as much publicity as the previous releases, which, to be fair, it wasn't as well widely received, but still one that should be considered for otome fans, but maybe further down the reading list. The Fox Awaits Me is a folklore-infused visual novel where an amnesiac wakes up in a forest to a young fox girl who seems to know him. You'll meet a small cast of girls in this modest visual novel made in Korea. Don't expect a great time, but it is fine if you like the subservient girl trope. This is available physically with English, but only in Japan, so if you want to import a physical copy, then check the links in the description. Piofiore Fated Memories. Back to some more otome goodness, back to something of a bit more darkly in nature. This is once again exclusive to the Switch. Doesn't make sense to me. I think this one especially could do well on PC due to its unique plot, which is the main focus here. It has great art from Riri, and if I were to try an otome for myself, it would probably be this one. Italian Mafia? Yes please. The House in Fata Morgana Reincarnation. Now, while The House in Fata Morgana is on the PC, its mini side story sequel of sorts thingamabob, Reincarnation, is not. It is, however, included in the Nintendo Switch package of the base game. While this is not as highly ranked as the base game, which is considered one of the greatest VNs ever made, this 8-hour sequel is definitely worth experiencing. It is definitely telling a very different story, different art style, and has voice acting too. It's very much its own thing. Cafe Enchante is a story about a girl who takes over her grandfather's cafe in Tokyo, which is far more than meets the eye. Creatures from all manner of mystical worlds come here to get their brew, and soon you get wrapped up in keeping an eye on them for a government agency. If you're into fantasy husbandos, then this is a great one for you. This is only available on the Nintendo Switch, nowhere else. The same could be said for Olympia Soiree. Although the story for this one isn't quite so cuddly, this one does have a darker plot points to it, which involves race, segregation and such, so it can be a bit of a touchy subject for some, plus the ending divided quite a lot of people. But if you're made of stronger stuff, then you'll no doubt enjoy the great music and unbelievable artwork from Satoi. Worldend Syndrome is a fairly highly rated horror-tinted VN that mixes romance with murder. Sounds like my favorite kind of blind date. This involves transferring to a new school in a new place which holds a dark secret. It's a beautiful game with fantastic artwork, although that could be said about most of these games on this list. They are the higher profile ones. Unfortunately, this was only released physically in Europe, not North America, and goes for an insane price these days. Variable Barricade is a visual novel we reviewed on the channel if you want to take a gander at that. This is a fun visual novel where a girl is forced to cohabit with potential bachelors at her grandfather's request. It is a nice time with really eye-popping artwork. It's exclusive to the Switch. I guess Axis games have fallen out of love with Sony these days. Birushana Rising Flower of Genpei is the most recent Otome to hit the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch only. This was developed and published by Idea Factory, with them getting back into the groove of westernizing their Otomes themselves. We reviewed this one for the channel and it's a good one, there's no doubt. Set in an historical era, it has plenty of action with dynamic sprites imitating sword actions, so not only there for pure romance. It perhaps doesn't live up to similar Otome such as Hakuoki, but it's still a great option nonetheless. Even if Tempest is another fairly recent Switch Otome, this time by Voltage, this definitely has some dark moments within its story, and it has the essence of perhaps some Phoenix Wright style gameplay in there too, with trials and such. Check out our review if you need more info on this one. Lilia can explain it better than myself, that is for sure. And that's it for games that are currently out, but there are a few upcoming visual novels that are announced for Switch but not yet for PC. So take these ones with a pinch of salt, some are more likely than others, but for the time being, they are only coming to Switch but not PC. Most of them are Big Daddy Otome games: Radiant Tale, Norn 9 Varcoms and its fan disc Norn 9 Last Era, Shuenoverse Era Salvation, Piofiore Sequel, Jack Jean, Lover Pretend, Amnesia Later X Crowd or Cross Crowd, whichever, Winter's Wish Spirits of Edo. Moving out of the Otome sphere, Witch on the Holy Night is on PC, but it looks as though the incoming Switch release might be the only way to play it in English. That is unknown for sure though, but hey, if you want to pre-order this physical Switch version, then check the links below. It's only in Japan, but like I said, it will have English. And there we have it, a lot of high-profile visual novels that aren't on PC. It's kind of mind-blowing, but also goes to show that if you're an Otome fan, you definitely 100% need a Nintendo Switch to quench your thirst. God knows why Axis Games or Automate or Idea Factory, I don't know why they've gone off that, but it is a pity. Remember to check the links below if you want to purchase any of them, that would be great. Check out more of our content. If you want more info about the Otome games, I did a video that has way more depth. It's worth a look alongside our other VN content that any visual novel fan will love. Take care.